everyone, my name's Christy. Welcome to my corner. Oh, I'm covered. Haha. Thank you for joining me today for Flosstube Friday, and it's Flosstube number 46. So I think I have more to talk about than I expected, but less than I hoped. But I do have 2 FFOs. I have a couple whips, and I have some plans. I don't have any haul. I have no book update, so if you're looking for a book update, I don't have one. I'll talk about that in a minute. But before we get to all of that, I want to welcome my new subscribers. Thank you for joining me on my artistic and crafty adventures, and welcome back to everyone who's been hanging out with me for however long you've been hanging out with me. I appreciate my friends and frenemies. No, I don't have any frenemies, just friends. I'm sorry. It's been a week, and I'm a little punchy. I'll just say that. This is a channel about embroidery and cross stitch and other textile crafts and baking and history and the history of all of those things. So if any of that is interesting to you and you are not subscribed, I'd love to have you subscribe and stick around. And I post floss tubes on Fridays, and then usually on Tuesdays I post kind of like other kinds of videos, although the past 2 weeks have been very busy, so there have not been Tuesday videos. But there is going to be a Tuesday video. I'm so excited. And that brings me to my FFO. We'll do kind of life stuff afterwards. That brings me to my FFO. I posted on Instagram. Oh, if you're not following me on Instagram, it's like I don't know how to do this anymore. I have Instagram if you want to see what I'm doing during the week. That's where I post kind of pictures of my stitching during the week and like my dog. I did a whole like 10 picture spread of my dog this week for my 1000th and first post. It's Dr._Christy. I'll put it right here, or it's probably been there. I'll put it there earlier so you'll see it. And that's, yeah. So if you're interested in seeing what I'm up to, you can follow me there. But I did post a traveler's notebook template. I decided that I wanted to make one of my pieces into a traveler's notebook. And that's basically a notebook that, oh goodness. It's essentially like a cover that has little elastic bands, and you put other like notebooks in more gracefully than this. This is not graceful, like that. And so you can take them in and take them out. I made this as a practice, and it worked pretty well, but there were some things I wanted to fix with it before I tried it on my actual piece. So I'm glad I made this, because today I made a traveler's notebook out of my red deer. So I filmed this as a tutorial, and I'll edit that and put it up for Tuesday, but I'm so pleased with it. So it has, if it's 2 notebooks, it has a hard cover, and I put a little tassel on the outside just for, you know, just for funsies. And yeah, this is my red deer pattern that I designed. And if you're interested in stitching it, it's for sale in my Etsy shop down below. And it's great for a traveler's notebook or any kind. It's great for a cover of something. And the cool thing about the way I made this is that you can basically any horizontally oriented piece can be turned really easily into a traveler's notebook. This took me, I mean, it took me a good amount of time, but it did not take that long. I mean, I did it today, this afternoon, after working in the morning. So it took me a few hours, but 4 hours maybe, 3 or 4 hours. So I'm really, really pleased. And at some point I might add a little like toggle closure, and I might add like a little pen loop or something in here. But this is an FFO. Look at that. Love it. Okay. That's my first FFO. My second FFO, I will show you when I do my whips, because it's on one of my whips. And that's it for finished and fully finished objects. I haven't finished anything since that. I am designing a piece for my friend who just had a baby, but I haven't had time to work on that. So I'll start that this week, which I'll talk about later, and that should be a pretty quick stitch, I think. So let's talk whips. My first whip is my medieval bear, who is getting honey, and this is from a medieval manuscript. This is from Harley Manuscript 3448. Folio 10 Verso. If anyone's interested in looking it up, I think it's at the British Library. I think Harley's British Library. Anyway, but it's bees. It's a bear with bees. and I am stitching it, embroidering it on a red Kona cotton and a kind of off-white linen backed in cotton muslin. And I'm feeling really off today again. I feel like I'm rushing through things. So if this feels weird, it feels weird to me too. But what I finished are, let me show you my needle minder. I love it. So I made a bunch of shark fin needle minders, but they're on like a clear, here, let me show, well, I'll just show you up close. They're on like a clear resin with sparkle base. So I made 10 of these because when you're working with resin, you can't just make one of something. It's such a waste of time. So I made 10 of these. So I'm thinking I'm gonna, if anyone's interested, put them up for sale. They're basically 1 inch tall. They're like 1 by 1 by 1. And the back is a googly eye because I like putting googly eyes on the backs of my things. So I may be doing a Etsy shop update with some of my finished pieces and also some needle minders and stuff if anyone's interested. Yeah, so that'll be this weekend sometime, I think, or during the week at least. But anyway, so that's my other finished object, are my needle minders. But let's talk about this piece. What I think I've done since last time I saw you is I've started the long and short stitch of the table. And the goal is to, the goal is to get it sort of faded like that, like shaded. And I think I did a pretty good job, although now that I'm looking at it again, I kind of wish I had done the front angled the same way I have done the back. That probably would have made more sense. Well, it is what it is now. I'm not taking it out, that's for sure. But it would have made more sense with like the perspective. But I'm almost done up here with that. And then I'm going to do the bee skeps. And then I'm going to start on the bear, I think. I kind of want to get to the bear. And I think I might do him, I don't know, he's kind of like weird and fuzzy in this. I almost want to do him in like French knots. I kind of want to do him in French knots. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see what I do with him. But that's my bear. I'm so awkward. I'm sorry I'm so awkward today, everybody. I'll explain why at the end when I get to my whatnot, my life update portion of the show, as folks call it. And like I said, this is being embroidered on a cotton and a linen, and the threads are various, but a lot of them are DeVere yarns. And I've noticed that most stitchers don't use DeVere yarns. At least most Flosstubers don't use DeVere yarns. And DeVere yarns, I'm going to put a link to their shop down below. They are a UK brand. I think they're in England. And their floss is so good. It's probably my favorite floss, and let me show you why. So here we have the yellowy color is 6 strands of DeVere yarn, and the beigey color is 6 strands of color and cotton. The DeVere yarn is probably 30% finer and thinner than the color and cotton. And I love me some color and cotton. It's the same as DMC, right? I mean, not the color and cotton isn't the same as DMC, but it's the same kind of thickness. So DeVere yarns, 1 strand of DeVere yarns is at least 1/3 thinner than DMC, which means that for those of you who stitch on really high counts and where you feel like even 1 strand is too bulky, DeVere yarns may be the way to go. I'm telling you, I love this company and their stuff. They also do silks. They do all different kinds of silks, really thin silks, thicker silks. It's an amazing brand of floss, and it's my favorite brand of floss. And I don't know why more people aren't using DeVere yarns, because they have a fantastic product. I'm going to put a link to their website down below because they're amazing. And they sell other things too. They sell things like wool. And so all these right here, these are all wool threads. I don't know. I just feel like no one talks about DeVere yarns, and I love them. So Highly recommend. But this is stitched with Devere yarns and color and cotton, essentially. Basically, I went by color, like I do with all my kind of medieval recreations, based on the colors that I had and what I enjoy using. That's my first whip. My second whip is my temperature library. And I designed this in embroidery and also in cross stitch, and you can find them both in my Etsy shop down below. I will have a new one for 2022, so if you are stitching this one for 2021, there'll be a new one for 2022. You can have like a whole library, and if you if you would like to stitch this in 2022, this will be available with an updated title, updated year at the top, and there will be a new one for 2022, so you can choose which one you want. But it's going to look like this at the end, and the cross stitch version looks like this. And I did a bunch of orange books, essentially. And it's just back and forth, orange, orange, orange. So I would like to, this weekend, I usually stitch this with my mom on Sundays, but she's been traveling a lot, so I haven't had the chance. But I want to kind of get working on this a bit more, so that way I don't fall too far behind, because then I just won't do it. And this is the kind of thing that I kind of have to do. So I'm excited about that. But orange books, we were in the 90s, the low 90s for a long time. And then it got really cold. I don't know if you can see my things. It got down to like 75. Like, yes, they're going to get lots of color like right here, but all this is all orange. There you go, temperature library. I'm sorry that I feel really awkward. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what's going on. And this is stitched on just a bleached linen yardage from fabricstore.com. And I think I have a link down below to that, and all the information about that is down below. It's being stitched in the DMC called for, that I keep on my little floss card there with the numbers, and it's in my book bag. And then my third whip, which may not be a whip. I may have showed this to you last time. I don't know that I think I should. As I'm getting this out, I'm feeling deja vu. I'm going to show it to you anyway. I may have done more in my Peppermint Purple Stitch Along, but I may not have. But that's where I am. My Peppermint Purple Stitch Along. And this is being stitched on a 14 count Aida in silks. The colored one, the variegated silk, is BeStitchMe Happy. And the outline green is an unnamed Dyeing4Cross Stitch, like Halloween silk. And this is the 2021 Peppermint Purple Stitch Along that I think I showed you last week. I don't think I've worked on this since last week. Now that I'm showing this to you, I'm getting deja vu. So that's really all I've done this week. I don't have any haul. I mean, I've bought things for like myself, but not stitching related things. So let's talk about, well, maybe let me talk about like kind of what I've been up to the last week and why I don't have a ton done. I score, and I mentioned this last week because I had just started doing it last week and it just ended this morning. So for the past, since last Friday morning, up until today straight, I've been scoring advanced placement exams. And basically these are exams that are like students take a special advanced placement class in their last year of high school, or whenever in high school, obviously. And then they take a test at the end of it, and depending on the grade they get on that test, they can get college credit for this course. So it's accepted by universities. And I score the essay, well, I score the essays in the European history exam. And so that's what I've been doing for the past 8 days, essentially. And I get paid for it, so it makes me a little extra money, which is nice, but it's really a lot. So I worked for like 40, it was like 42 hours, I think I did in the past week, 42 hours. And I scored 1,949 essays. I was so hoping to get to 2,000, but then we ran out of essays, and so I didn't have 2,000. But I scored 1,949 essays in 8 days. So I was only working like 5 or 6 hours a day on this, but it was mentally exhausting. Like I left that time and was just, my brain was just like mush. There was one day when I finished, we were running late, so they were trying to like get us to grade more hours, and so I graded in the evening a couple days too. And at one point it was like 8 o'clock and I just couldn't score any more essays. Maybe it was 10 o'clock. I think it was 10 o'clock, and I just like couldn't score any more essays, but I also like couldn't go to sleep yet. And so I played Candy Crush. Like, I haven't played Candy Crush in a very long time, but I just could not stitch. It was more than I could do to like pick up my stitching and stitch. So I'm hoping that ended this morning. And then my class my summer class ended on Wednesday. Their final was due on Wednesday. And so I graded all that stuff this week too. So essentially I've read a lot of essays and I didn't have a ton of time for stitching, but I did have a couple whips because I do think that the bear and the library are different than last week. The peppermint purple, I think, is the same. I did today, when we were finished, I finished up my traveler's notebook. Oh, I have another whip that I forgot about. My Lindseys Hedgehog quilt. I'm so excited. I don't have really anything to show you from it because it's in strips, but I did 1 or 2 more strips, and just to show you, here's my mock-up, and I just did the snoot, the nose. I don't think I did that one. I think I'm here, and I'm working from the bottom. So I think I have 10 more rows to go, and I've reorganized it so that way it's like more portable. And so each row is numbered. So this is the top row here. Row 10 is the top row, and it's all blue. It's all sky. But you know, this one, well, I don't want to pull them all out, but this one here has a little bit of red in it, which means it's like the very tippy top of the flower. So I'm pretty excited. I've been kind of throwing this together. This sits on my stitchy chair. So if I'm not quite feeling up to embroidering, but I just want to do something with my hands, I pull this out and I do it. So I think I did 2 rows of this week. So that's really fun. And that's my Lindseys Hedgehog quilt. And basically I'm doing the hedgehog and a flower. And I'm doing the flowers in red because I think this is, well, I was going to turn it into a pillow, but it's way too big for a pillow. I don't know what this is going to be, but red matches my decor better than pink does. So I picked red. But Lindseys Hedgehog house quilt. And I'm thinking, tell me that this is crazy. I just had this idea, like just this second, but I kind of want to now stitch this and like put it on the back. Like when I quilt it, like put it in like the corner when I quilt it, like have this be the quilt tag. I kind of love that idea. I think that's going to happen. So it looks like I'm going to stitch this. I'm going to replace all the pinks with reds, but otherwise I'm going to stitch it. And what's nice is that I actually bought all of the colors for the hedgehog because I was trying to match colors in the store when I was getting the fabric. And so they're all like right behind me, all the colors for the hedgehog. So that's nice. I'll have all the stuff, and I have all that fabulous fabric that my friend Jennifer gave me. It's a thing. It's gonna happen. Yay! That's fun. So that's something to look forward to as I can stitch that up. And that, I guess, leads us to plans. I have a couple plans. One of my plans, I want to work on my whips, like I said. I plan on doing crafting this weekend. I'm gonna edit that video for Tuesday so you can see how I made my my traveler's notebook, and you can make one too. And then I'm going to do a little needle felting. I'm going to do this needle felted fox this weekend because the Crafty Toads, and they are a knitting podcast because knitters call their Flosstubes podcasts. It's a knitting podcast that they are yarn dyers and fabric. They have a store, right? So they dye and sell their own yarn, and they sell fabric, and they sell quilting kits, and they sell bags, like project bags, like for knitting and crochet project bags. But they're doing a like Toad Hollow, called Toad Hollow summer camp. And you have to make a stuffy, which I'm assuming is a stuffed animal. And I asked if I could do a needle felted animal, 3D needle felted animal, and they said I could. And I can, I'm gonna tag them in it and maybe win a prize. But I've had this kit for a while. I got it like on clearance for like $4. It's a Dimensions needle felting kit, and I've been wanting to like dabble in 3-dimensional needle felting, and so I thought this would be perfect, and I could win a prize. Who knows? So I definitely want to do this. The other thing I really want to try is card weaving. So I've been watching Hazel, Solar Punk Stitches, and she's been inkle loom weaving, and that's when you weave bands. So I think I'm going to watch the CVD, learn how to do some tablet weaving, make some bands. All the cool kids do medieval, do ancient and medieval weaving, obviously on Saturday nights, because that's what the cool kids do. So I have this whole kit, and I've had it. I got it back in December when I was kind of buying all these crafts to do in December, and I haven't done it yet. So I kind of want to maybe try that as well. I want to try all the things now. Now that like my class is done and like scoring is done, I literally, for the next 6 months, all I have to do is work on this book and like make myself feel good about it. I don't know. I want to do all the things. I want to do all the things. I want to reorganize my office. I want to clean things. I want to do all the things. Oh my God. I'm so excited. I found a company to like do our yard. I know this sounds like not exciting, but our yard looks so good. They came 2 or 3 days ago and like cleaned up our yard. That was the best envelope of cash I've ever given anyone. Like every time I leave my house, I'm so excited by how my yard looks. Like, and it's really hard to find good companies to do things around here. Like there's no licensing around me. Like there's no, Mississippi has no regulation of any kind, right? You just hope for the best and usually don't get the best. But I'm so pleased with this company that I got to do my yard. And it's funny because they weren't the company that I intended to call. I called a company who came out and then just like never responded. And a week later I was walking my dog, and this truck, the owner and his like employee were driving and at a stop sign right where I was coming, and they kind of waved. They said hello because it's Mississippi and everyone just says hello to you if you're driving and walking. If you're walking, drivers say hello to you. And I'm like, can I get a card? And then they're like, yeah. And so they gave me their card, and I was only a block away from my house, and they're like, oh, where are you? I'm like, oh, I'm right over there. And I gave them my address. And by the time I got home, they were like at my house. We walked around a bit, and he gave me an estimate the next day, and then like a week and a half later he showed up. And it would have been sooner, but we had masses of, it was that week when we had like 15 thunderstorms in like 2 days. It was like the most ridiculous thing. We had thunderstorms all week, and you can't do lawn work when you have thunderstorms. Anyway, I'm babbling. My yard looks awesome. It's like one less thing I have to think about. I'm so excited. So excited. I do have a happy mail that, well, it's not even really a happy mail. It was a gift from my mom when she came up like forever ago that I forgot to show you. But she gave me a Bob Ross sticker. No mistakes, just happy accidents. Don't you love, I love Bob Ross. I love Bob Ross. So there you go. No mistakes, just happy accidents. I think that is all my stitching and life update content. So the book. I'm writing a book. For those of you who are new, I'll post a link up here, I think, to the video about my book so you know what my book is about and why I'm talking about it in my Flosstube. So that's right there. You can check that out. Like I said, I don't have a book update for this week. I haven't even cracked. I moved it. I moved the dissertation off the chair. That's all I did. But this week, all I have to do is work on this. So I had some books that came in, some interlibrary loan books that came in. So I'm going to go pick them up this week. And I'm going to finish reading through my dissertation this week and taking notes. And I may actually go through it again to kind of take actual notes. I did the great book exchange. So I have my books from my office that I think will be immediately useful for what I'm doing. And I'm going to scan them into my book app and put them on my shelf. And I'm going to get to work. So, but next time you see me, I will have picked up, oh, and my plan is to read an article or a chapter a day. That's my plan. And I have time to do it now. So if I don't do it, that's bad, because this is now when I get to do this. So that's the plan. Get through my dissertation at least once, possibly twice, a book or article a day, pick up interlibrary loan books. Yeah, that's the plan. So thank you all for holding me to that. Thank you, Tony, again for checking in with me. I appreciate it very much. Oh, there have been some comments that I've lost from YouTube again. Like Leslie, not quite enough yarn. You commented a couple weeks ago. I saw in my alerts. I never was able to get to it. Someone else as well. So I'm a little bit behind on commenting. I will comment on everyone's comment that I can this weekend. But if you commented on a video of mine in the last couple weeks and I don't respond by next Monday, it's disappeared. I promise. Like, I'm not ignoring you. I don't get enough comments that I ever ignore anyone. Yes. I'm sorry if you have been commenting and I haven't been responding. They've been disappearing again, and I'm not quite sure what's going on. And then sometimes they like appear a month later. I'm not sure what's going on. So I apologize for that. But I think that that's it from me. That is enough babbling. I feel like that was a lot of chatter today. I think it's because my brain is just like mushy. So I think I'm gonna work on my temperature library today, because like I'm kind of in the middle of it. So I feel like that's an easy thing I can pick up tonight, and it won't take much time. I mean, it won't like take much mental energy. I think it'll feel good to get that a bit done. So I will see you. I will see you on Tuesday. You will see me on Tuesday, and I'll see you next Friday for my Flosstube 47. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you have a wonderful week. And with all that being said, please take good care of yourselves and have a good one. Bye.